The trailer starts with a slow zoom into the actual Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy itself, the book from the film, and to which the film is named, and it's floating in a space background. This shows the audience that it is actually in space itself. So there would be no point in incorporating space in the film, which had absolutely nothing to do with space. It gives the audience a hint and a large clue onto the actual topic of the trailer. A large factor of the trailer is the fact that it somewhat makes fun of the conventions used in other trailers. So it exploits those and makes it really obvious how they're used, such as the husky voice and what things happen in what order. So it actually makes an effort to explain this to the audience, and the narrator, as Stephen Fry, actually says this to you, as in, this will happen now, this will happen then, and actually then shows you it, so you can make an immediate link between the two. Not only does this make the trailer itself quite new and interesting, as the film is itself, and the books were, it's a very weird storyline, it's very different, it's very out of the way, and it also makes it quite funny, as the film is. It's a comedy film, so ensuring that the trailer itself is funny will make sure that the audience know that the film will be funny. The zoom in from the start then goes into the book, which opens, and you see the title of the film written on the book. You then go straight into the book as if you're reading The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It then shows a very futuristic type projection or holographic menu type display as it scans through the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy as it does in the film. It then starts the analysis type theme. It then explains what film trailers are actually like, with scrolling text on the screen like in futuristic films and such. It then introduces the main character. You see it's shots of the main character in his normal house, and it then says, then it narrates itself. It then begins with an introduction to the main character. The fact it said that, and the fact you now see it, you automatically make a link between the two. You know this is the main character. The main character is also a well-known comedian, also benefiting the fact that it's a comedy film, so you automatically know that it's going to be funny. The narrator then says that usually something amazing will happen in his life, which it then does. You then see shots of the alien ships and shaky camera work and things smashing and chaos, which all builds up to the fact that his life has changed and he's about to take on this journey, which is the film's story. It then shows various screens of television screens in the film, which have been taken over by the alien or the main threat in the storyline, which then says, Planet Earth, your planet has been scheduled for demolition, showing then various shots of different cities, showing the audience that it's the whole world affected, not just a place. The editing of the trailer then begins to pick up. You see spaceships and things, which are major themes of the storyline. You also see very quick shots of like explosions and things which heighten the action aspect, showing the audience that as much as it's going to be a comedy film, it's also an action film. Carrying on with the way the narration works, it also then says you normally see heartless villains. It then shows one of the villains in the film. You automatically make the link. It then says you see hideous creatures. It then shows hideous creatures. You automatically make the link between the two. The narration then says that films normally finish with a montage to rock music, which it then does, and shows very, very quick editing, showing you very brief glimpses of different parts of the film, of which you can't necessarily see enough of in the trailer. You don't really get the full picture, so then you can be somewhat brought to be curious as to what it was and want to watch the film. The narrator then says that trailers normally finish with a reveal of the main title, which it does so, then shows a release date for the film, showing, so you have information as to when it comes out, which the narrator then backs up, saying that it usually releases the release date so that the audience can alter their lives around this. It then finishes with a close of the book that opened at the very start, followed by the film's catchphrase, a website for you to find out any more information if you so wish. The trailer for Shaun of the Dead is done very much like a public service announcement or warning, as if a zombie apocalypse was actually happening. This is what happens in the actual film, so it gives a sense of a taste of the actual film. It also brings somewhat of a sense of realism to it, considering the realism of the characters and the fact that it's just their lives. They're no necessarily special people. So just from the realism of the trailer and the fact that it's trying to be an actual warning, it can give you a sense, and it gives the audience a sense of how it's just a normal life and what happens in this zombie outbreak. The style of like a chaotic world or an apocalypse and a public service warning is also shown by the static screen and the colour warning shots, as if it was an actual TV that you're seeing. The narrator, who's acting as the news reporter, also mentions Our Nation, which is a direct attraction to the English audience, seeing as the film itself is English and set in England. From at the very start, where it's being very much like a public service announcement, it doesn't actually ever say zombie, or any of the shots that it shows never actually show any hint of a zombie. It's just scenes of panic or chaos or riots. This would also attract the audience because they want to know what it's actually about, what the trailer and the film is actually about. Being vague and not necessarily specific can create quite a lot of curiosity and interest in the film to find out what it is. Running across the entirety of the start is also a constant beep, like a dead heart on a heart monitor, which would imply death and destruction to the audience. It then zooms out from the television to see the two main characters sitting in their flat watching the TV, and to the words "do not panic" they turn and see a zombie, which then shows the audience what the threat is, and they immediately panic, which can give an idea of the character. The fact that they do the exact opposite of what they've been advised to do. A combination of freeze frames and the news reporter / narrator saying a tip for you to survive is given. So the frame will freeze and show a specific event that's happened, and then show you a tip which largely is the parallel to what is actually happening. For example, here is the narrator says try to be unnoticed, and one of the characters is on his mobile amongst a load of zombies. So it shows the characters that they are somewhat idiots in this situation. Another is when he says use weapons to defend yourself. It shows them creating makeshift weapons from various items, and how doing that is quite funny. So the records, and it gives another insight to the character, the fact that they'd be in all this danger and still want to look through their belongings to make sure they don't get rid of anything they actually want. The editing is also very quickly cut on scenes of violence, so you never actually see the strike to the zombie. So you're never actually fully seeing the action that the trailer, that the film can actually bring. So it would to be able to see the full action and the full effect of the zombie film, you'll have to watch the actual film itself. Once again, as with Hitchhikers, the editing then picks up very quickly, showing different scenes from throughout the film, and of zombies and characters in peril, and also the methods of how they've tried to survive, many of which are funny themselves, such as the racquetball. So that again shows the characters that they're quite foolish, and they're in this situation, and it will make the audience interested to see how these characters will be able to survive, considering how poorly they seem to be surviving on the trailer. The trailer then cuts to black after a crash, so the black is the body of the person that they've crashed, and it then rolls in with the main music of the film as they check to see who they've run over is okay. The title of the film is then shown against a black background, continuing the music from the previous, and it then cuts back to the scene of the car crash, of them realising that it's actually a zombie. So the whole trailer actually finishes on a joke, which also would greatly imply that the film is once again supposed to be a comedy zombie film. Based purely from the trailer, you can tell that the genre and target audiences of this is going to be mainly male, considering the only characters you've really met or in any depth whatsoever have been male. It's massively violence based, and the fact of zombies is going to attract somewhat more to males than females, and also the funny side of it, the funny and comedic value of the film is going to be somewhat more male than female, especially the characters that have been funny in the trailer. The trailer then ends with a coming soon, giving no specific details as to when it is. Giving no specifics can give more curiosity than giving a set date. If you have no specifics, then you need to find out more information if you can. Giving the website as well will let the audience find out more in their own, and thus giving the film more advertising, more publicity, and hopefully more success.